Pisces, this is your February 2022 soul story. This month it's all about repairing and rebuilding, and that's going to feel like an incredibly strengthening and elevating experience for you. This is Romy. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to give you some key astrological dates and break down some of the energy conversations that are taking place to help you to move through the month ahead. So we're going to be opening up this month, Pisces, with the energy of divine wisdom. This is an additional card in this particular moon deck, and really for me it signifies that what you've experienced, particularly through this Venus rebirth, remember we're now in Venus direct, and so there is a time where we have to start putting into practice and truly embodying all that we have learned. And you know, with this warp speed revolution taking place on a spiritual basis, with Jupiter in your sign, with the energy of 2022 feeling completely different, haven't you felt that? This wisdom is now wanting to be ground into something, and there's a richness to rooting that in that you're going to be feeling beautifully through this month. Now, a little goes a long way in February, okay? So bear that in mind. This is not about necessarily feeling like you have to start overhauling everything all at once, but it is a time where perhaps you are ready and willing to start to look at things that need to be repaired or rebuilt, that perhaps some of the cracks or there were fracture lines that showed up during the last few weeks of these retrograde cycles. Now, the thing about February, you know, on a collective basis that I've been tuning into, is that really we're all going to be in a position to face things that we weren't ready, willing, or able to before. And, you know, that can be really refreshing, very illuminating, but it can also be quite difficult, especially if you were perhaps already there and you're waiting for someone else to catch up, or if someone's already been trying to position something with you and all of a sudden something lands. So we have to kind of, as much as possible, have that tolerance and compassion for one another. But the Hermit here is the indication that you've already had this rite of passage. You're now emerging through the doorway back into the light. Now we have on the 1st of the month, 31st of January, 1st of February is the new moon in Aquarius, and the day after we also have this really auspicious portal of 222. So at this time the energy is vibrant, it's really charged, and it's wanting this deliberate, intentional focus from you so that you can make the most of, even though, you know, from a time perspective, a quite short month, actually an experience where you're going to see a lot of things happen very, very quickly. Now, we want you to feel into all of it. That's what the Hermit said. It's like, you know, you've already gained all of this wisdom. You've done the hard work, some deep soul searching. You've got this renewed sense of wisdom that has come through. Where are you going to apply that? How is that going to change the way that you see yourself, the way that you are looking at the things within your life and deciding on, you know, how you want to take them forward? Now, Aquarius season 12th house energy for you, a lot of this is going to be behind the scenes work. Now, Mars in Capricorn all the way through February in your 11th house means that you can get an awful lot done, especially where you are wanting to utilize technology, especially where you are wanting to make changes and move things forward by way of working with groups, communities, even within some of the friendships that may have been impacted quite powerfully during these retrograde energies. Remember, 11th house is also about your hopes and dreams. Now, Mars loves to be in Capricorn, so this energy is really powerful to help drive that sense of focus, but also to give you the endurance and the stamina. And I think you're going to welcome that like a breath of fresh air through the course of this month, as you also feel into, you know, some of these planets stationing direct and supporting the kind of aha clarity now as the confusion starts to dissipate. The Three of Wands I love for you. Now, there's actually two figures here, so I do feel you're going to be having a very important conversation with somebody about the way forward, about what the vision for the future looks like, whether that be personally or professionally. The thing is, the Hermit says that you had to do the work first yourself, you know, and it was something that you had to come to terms with, perhaps into a place of alignment and acceptance. Now you're ready to come back and either look to rebuild, to repair, or to reimagine something. I have a sense of you being able to reimagine with another individual what something can look like or how it can be achieved. And this is going to help you to start to redefine your purpose and really to be more purposeful as well, okay? We want you to be aware, I think, that in February, Pisces, it's like you're going to be making art from whatever is going on in your heart. And, you know, that's going to mean at times it might feel quite messy because on an emotional level, you might still be going through the ringer with a few different things. But it also brings an awful lot of magic with it as well. That's where the medicine is. Now, your Eight of Swords suggests to me that you're still kind of caught up in some fairly stressful situations. And in some aspects, even though I don't have the same levels of sort of avoidance or abandonment that you may have had, because I do see that you're quite prepared to face things and have those more difficult conversations. There's a bravery that's going to be emerging. But sometimes with the Eight of Swords, and it's really interesting, this often shows up for me when I'm doing individual readings, you know, people, when they really need space, yeah, when they're at the precipice of kind of like coming to terms with something or perhaps about to make a big decision and they need to withdraw, and it's maybe more difficult to do that just because of how life gets in the way, or, you know, to carve out any kind of a time can be challenging. So sometimes we kind of end up creating these sort of slightly chaotic or stressful situations by way of giving ourselves some of that breathing space. And, you know, to the outside world, it looks like, you know, we've got ourselves all bound up. And even on a conscious level, we might be thinking that. But actually, there's something deeper going on at soul level that says, you just need this time. And the Ace of Cups talks to me about what it is that you want to devote to. And, you know, it feels to me that sometimes it's easy, you know, the pain and the exhaustion of a difficult day can really get in the way of all of that beautiful energy and investment that you're making towards your desires, your hopes and your dreams. And you can be forgiven for thinking that, you know, it's not working, or I haven't been able to get as far as I wanted to. And so, you know, that stressful situation through the Eight of Swords, and watch yourself do it this month. Like I just say, pay attention to where you literally feel like you are creating a certain experience, maybe even a bit of drama, or, you know, something's coming in. Because out of that, the day, you know, the few days, the few hours, whatever that time is that's kind of permeating around you, you're going to end up coming to like a really clear decision or understanding, and something's going to land for you quite powerfully. And so, you know, the Hermit again says it's like a sacred alone time that you need through the course of this month. So listen in and tune in to where that might be showing up for you, okay? It's very enhancing, and I think it's going to strengthen your position and your resolve in relation to something, okay? You are going to be okay. We want you to feel like you can let go and then see where this braveness is going to be taking you, Pisces. So on the Asteroid Goddess, we have a lot of transits shifting this month. We've got Juno shifting into Aquarius on the 1st of the month, and of course she rules equality, marriages, partnerships. And here we have the desire for a greater degree of freedom, for our individuality to shine through, to start to pursue a more radical authenticity, maybe even a slightly more eccentric path. And with the Empress energy, you feel quite strong and empowered to do that and to have that kind of a conversation. So you may be looking at slightly more non-conventional setups in regards to things either personally or professionally. It's going to work really well for you is what I want to say. We also have this Asteroid Goddess Ceres, of course, linking in with the natural cycles of the earth moving direct in Gemini. And here we want to nurture what's going on with the higher mind. And again, the Empress Mother archetypal energy here is understanding what it takes to be able to bring things to life. The creativity, the collaboration, knowing that you have to have the right environment, how to work with the seasons. But of course, it also connects into other people's stories and how we come together in these circles to be able to share, support, nurture, nourish. And with the Ace of Cups here as well, there's something really important and profound about the stories that you are hearing or participating by way of sharing your own, that also help to give you a sense of validation or confidence or even reassurance and support when you need it most. Okay, so pay attention to how that might be coming up for you. We also have Pallas Athena shifting into Aries on the 14th, and her wisdom and strategy here wants to bring about fast solutions, and there's quite a pioneering kind of edgy quality to this, which I like for you. You know, Page of Wands, there's a little bit of fire here. I think you're the one that's making an offer here. I think you're reaching out, and there's a part of you I feel is ready to kind of almost initiate something. So whether this be on a relationship front and you're the one that's doing the asking, or suggesting, whether it's on a professional or in some other area personally in your life, where I feel like taking the initiative and being proactive is actually going to pay huge dividends for you this month. And there may be a quality of something needing to be repaired here, remember, okay, because she's looking a little bit unsure as to how it may be received. What I want to say to you is it actually feels like gorgeous return energy coming back to you, okay? The thing that I do want you to remember is that through the course of this month, you're going to feel like you want to opt out of something. Okay, so I don't want you to overcommit. Again, that space is required to help formulate an idea or a plan, or to put something into motion to be able to advance yourself in a very short period of time. I feel like it's almost like you don't have a lot of time to do something, and therefore if you've overcommitted in another area, it's putting you under much more pressure. Now, don't get me wrong, even though February is a short month, I think you're going to be really surprised what turns, in terms of some of the events and experiences and where it leads you. I just want you to be aware, especially with that 12th house in Aquarius season before the sun hits your sign on the 18th, that, you need to be giving yourself kind of extra space, okay? So the full moon is coming in Leo this month, nice fire sign, and we may even have a Leo, Aries or Sagittarius with that Page of Wands also showing up. To be honest, they might be the instigator for a little bit of that stress and chaos. However, I feel like you're also taking advantage of that, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's like whatever it needs for you to be able to really feel in and kind of allow the richness of what you want to root in your pathway without the kind of interference of others is fine. And remember, like we said, having that sense of neutrality is going to let you move very quickly in any particular direction. So the full moon in Leo, of course, always brings a little drama with it, but also can bring things to fruition, creatively speaking, that feel very exciting. Seven of Pentacles suggests to me that where you've been investing, now's a time to see some of the rewards starting to show up for you, okay? Now, we have this sort of mirror image of her here, and the hands are up as all, almost in a kind of protective, like boundary type of a situation here, as she takes some time to take stock and really go inwards to kind of figure out what the next step look like, or how she truly feels about something. Again, there's this theme about you needing space in order to really feel into what that download may be, what the inspiration is coming in, and how long you need to sit with it. So don't be rushed into making a decision if somebody's pushing or pressing you for an answer on something, okay? The answer with the Ace of Cups is always going to be to make sure you're nourishing and taking care of yourself, but also really being clear about what it is that you truly want to spend time on, and perhaps who you want to spend time with. I think that's also going to be a big part of what gets very clear for you as we move through this month of February. So Mercury, having gone direct in Capricorn on the 3rd, is then going to track back into Aquarius on the 14th of the month, and it's almost like so many of the ideas that have been swirling around all of a sudden all want to get done and all want to get talked about straight away. Now, justice comes in here because there's a balancing out of something that needs to happen. There is a right way forward, and then there's perhaps what you actually want. So there may be, I almost feel, a little bit of an internal conflict that goes on at some stage for you through this month, Pisces, where you're feeling into the kind of what your higher mind and your higher self is telling you is going to be the most advantageous for you, perhaps in the mid to long term, but there's perhaps a part of you that wants a bit of a quicker fix because of what you've been through or what you've had to wait for or endure. And so I feel like there is this sense of feeling a little bit frustrated, or that somehow you want to kind of rebel against something that's perhaps showing you that this is the way you really need to go. Now, you're never really going to get it wrong. Remember, it's always just about having an experience. But I will say, February is one of these months where there's so much fresh new energy coming in. We're still trying to align ourselves with that new frequency. And if you're getting a really strong, clear directive from your higher self in terms of which path to take, even if on paper it doesn't look initially like the most exciting or the one that feels like it's going to give you the quickest return, there's going to be a really important reason why they're trying to send you in that direction. Okay, so try not to go against your own self, but I do think that there's going to be this rebellious part of you that just wants to almost test the limits for yourself, and that's okay. I think quite quickly you'll probably come to a conclusion about, perhaps any adjustments you might want to make before you go too far down the line with something. So we have this really beautiful aspect with Jupiter sextile Uranus as well coming in on the 17th, which is all about this personal freedom and this beautiful, rich sense of expansion. And again, I feel into around this time that anything that you've been working on previously, or conversations that you may be having started in terms of relationships, now get an opportunity to sort of have a much more serious, fruitful conversation about commitment and moving forward. So this card also came out actually for Aquarius, and I love it because of course it's bringing in the master number 22. We're going to be working with that in the portal on the 2nd, but all the way through this year. We have this incredibly strong, incredibly flexible, agile dancer here, but she's stood right on the top of the summit of this mountain. So you've already scaled something. You've already made the commitment and you've got this far. So you have to keep seeing it through, because the self-mastery that's come from that is going to require in some form or another that to be taught. Now, I'm not saying that you're all going to be teachers. I'm saying that the wisdom that you've gained from the experience means that now, you have to take an action that's consummate to that, so that your soul can understand that it has learned that lesson. And karmically speaking, especially with justice showing up, you get to release that, and there's a closure to that particular lesson so that you can find the blessing and then move on. Yeah, so the commit here, I feel, is something that has already been a commitment, but you may also find that through the course of February, people are starting to show up in ways that feel like you can have those conversations in a much more fluid and open and healthy exchange, rather than just feeling like it's oil and water all the time. So that's going to serve you incredibly well. And what it's showing me is that the endurance and strength that's been gained has also put you in really peak condition, kind of energetically speaking, by way of your spirit. Yeah, so it means that you're honed and alert and aware for the signposts that are going to be coming in. And that's important, because I think some of you are set to see some very interesting redirections, course corrects showing up that actually feel like a total blessing as well. So maybe something that you sort of long felt could never really be a part of your world, or wasn't going to be an option for you, all of a sudden is circling back in a way that you could never have written it. It's just like one of these very unexpected, kind of fated things, but it has a sense of resonance. So it's either that you've already wanted or you've tried something in the past. Okay, so your astrology card has come through as house 1, which is beautiful, because of course the sun coming into Pisces, and happy solar returns for those of you that are February born. coming in with individuality, self-image, and an approach to life. And that, you know, this is a time where you really get to feel into that new energy with a sense of rising confidence and belief that actually, you know, what you have to say, what you want to say, what you do, how you do it, all of this is really valuable. And they just give me this phrase like lost and found. So maybe if you felt like you've lost yourself, you're going to feel in February that this is a time where you definitely kind of come back into union and harmony with a part of you that maybe had been forgotten, or kind of you haven't had time or the inclination. But there's also the sense of even like things that you were interested in or had a great deal of love and time for, also coming back around but in a different way. It's like I feel like there's a twist to it with something, okay? Like I said, you're going to be making art from your heart, so whatever that feels like for you. But there's an elevation of your energy, and we want you to take time to enjoy that, you know, not to rush the process, because there's something really delicious in the recognition of the very specific, deliberate things that you've done to actually make that intentional change in your life, and then starting to see it manifest and really recognizing, I did that. Yeah, you're going to get a lot from that. I also feel that this month, Pisces, there is someone believing in you, and it's going to have a really profound impact on you. Now, this could be a family member, it could be somebody in a professional capacity, it may be your partner or your spouse, but the way that they are in this particular month, like presenting what they think and feel about you, which is coming from a really genuine belief in what you're doing or how you've changed or something that you've done, it's really gratifying, and I feel like it makes you grow like 10 inches taller. It's really wonderful. So I feel like they've been very specifically placed by Spirit this month to ensure that you receive that direct hit of energy, because you're supposed to get the recognition on something, okay? So your animal spirit comes in, number 8, the bobcat spirit. Life is a mystery. Of course, 12th house energy is all working in that deeper subconscious realm. And we're still continuing with the blind spot, the shadow work, you know, through the course of this year. But because there's a more enlightened version of you right now, the revolution is happening at a faster pace, and you're opened up more than you ever have before. It's almost like the unearthing of these secrets are happening so quickly, and you're making course corrects and adjustments faster than ever, that it feels a little bit more of an adventure than it may have done. So where before it might felt like you were like literally, you know, digging deep in the kind of mud and sort of not feeling like there was any light coming from anywhere, there's something about February as I see you emerging into the light, and that Ace of Cups, this beautiful new blossoming around love. Maybe for some of you, you may feel into new connections starting to show up as well, especially as I come in toward the end of the month, and I feel like you're really kind of finding your feet into Pisces season. Some kind of beautiful gift, and actually words that are a long time coming is also what Spirit is saying to me, is something that you should be looking out for. So perhaps something that you knew was how somebody felt, or you know, there had been all of the signs and indications, but I feel sort of you're getting the validation of it in some capacity, and whether that helps you to make peace to move on, or whether that's part of this repairing and rebuilding, that's also like going to be a really beautiful experience for you on a very deep level, is kind of what Spirit shows me, okay? So this is a general reading for the month of February, Pisces. I'm just going to invite you to think about a personal question that might not have come out in the main spreads, okay? What we're going to do is just pull a couple of cards for that just now. Now this is going to be covered off in the extended reading. If you're new to the channel, the extended reading, we talk for another 20 minutes. You can find the link in the description box, the comment section underneath. It's a way to support my work, as well as just getting additional messages for your month ahead. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and clarify this main reading again, just to go deeper into what these energy guides want to deliver for us. So just beginning with Divine Wisdom. And we have the Page of Pentacles coming in. Now, all the decks I use, guys, are also in the description in the comment section. This one is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. Okay. 5 of Cups. and the Emperor. Okay, so the Hermit coming through with the Queen of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. And with all of these asteroid goddess energies moving this month, you can also check out my goddess reports on the website. Again, the link is in the description box, and it will give you personal details about where all of these goddess sits in your own natal chart, just for deeper insight. Three of Wands is coming in with the Knight of Swords and the World. Nice. Okay, Revolution is linking into the energy of the Tower as well. But I feel with that World coming through, it's almost like it is a kind of major shift and change in your world coming in, but it feels liberating. There's another Ace of Cups showing in there, Ten of Wands. I feel like you know what you're working towards. Wondering if you're ever going to get there. Yes, you are. Eight of Wands. Another Justice coming in. We might also have a Libra energy that's important through February for you Pisces. And interesting, even the Two of Cups has got the scales here, but they're a little bit off balance. So it makes me feel that, particularly from a love perspective, something is still out of balance, but Justice is set to bring us some energy to support that. There's our Wheel of Fortune coming in. Judgment. Another Empress energy. Beautiful. Your card of the Moon showing up here. Not a surprise with all of that 12th house energy we're working with. Page of Wands, and finally Freedom. Beautiful. Okay, Pisces, thank you so much for joining me. If this has resonated, please do support my channel. You can do that by subscribing, by dropping me a comment, liking the video, and of course joining me for the extended version. Have a beautiful solar returns. I look forward to connecting with you next month, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.